Filipino immigrants in the U.S. are facing one of the toughest crackdowns in recent history. Families are being torn apart, workers are being removed from their jobs, and once thriving communities are now living in fear. With immigration policies tightening under the latest government actions, deportations are happening at record levels. Cities that were once welcoming to Filipinos are now seeing increased immigration raids, stricter visa regulations, and rising uncertainty. In this video, we'll reveal 8 U.S. cities where Filipino immigrants are facing the worst crackdowns, and what it means for those still living there. 8. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles has long been home to one of the largest Filipino communities in the U.S., with historic Filipino towns serving as a cultural and economic hub. But recent immigration policies have made life more uncertain for many Filipino residents. Under tougher federal enforcement, the number of immigration raids has increased, especially in industries where many Filipinos work, such as healthcare, hospitality, and domestic services. Visa overstays, expired work permits, and minor legal infractions are now being treated with zero tolerance, leading to more deportations. One of the biggest concerns is the impact on Filipino healthcare workers. Many nurses and caregivers in LA are on work visas or have pending green card applications, but delays and new restrictions have put their legal status at risk. Hospitals and nursing homes are now losing experienced Filipino staff, worsening an already severe healthcare worker shortage. Filipino families in LA are living in fear, with many avoiding public spaces, immigration offices, and even skipping medical appointments to avoid encounters with federal agents. The city that once represented opportunity is now a place of deep uncertainty. 7. New York City. New York has long been a gateway for immigrants, but new federal enforcement strategies have put Filipino communities at risk. Although the city itself has sanctuary policies, federal agents have still been able to conduct targeted raids, arrests, and deportations. The biggest issue? Workplace enforcement. Immigration officers have been detaining undocumented workers in restaurants, retail shops, and service industries, leading to mass layoffs. Many Filipinos, especially those working as caregivers, nurses, and home health aides, are now afraid of being targeted. Another major factor is the tightening of visa regulations. Many Filipinos in New York were hoping to adjust their legal status through employment sponsorships or family petitions, but new backlogs and stricter policies have slowed or stopped their applications. For undocumented Filipinos, the fear is constant. Even legal residents worry that new policy changes could put their status in jeopardy. Many are avoiding public transportation, community events, and even work to stay off the radar. New York was once a city of dreams for immigrants, but for many Filipinos, it's turning into a city of anxiety and uncertainty. 6. Houston, Texas. Houston is home to thousands of Filipino nurses, engineers, and service workers. But under recent immigration crackdowns, many are facing deportation, detainment, or delays in their residency applications. One of the hardest hit sectors? Healthcare. Houston's hospitals rely heavily on Filipino nurses and medical workers, yet some who have been working legally for years are now facing issues with their visa renewals. The process has become stricter, with some applicants being denied due to minor paperwork errors or changes in policy. For undocumented Filipinos, the situation is even worse. Immigration enforcement has ramped up in neighborhoods where Filipinos live, with raids targeting apartment complexes and workplaces. Many families are now choosing to stay indoors, limit their activities, and even pull their children from school for fear of being detained. Community leaders have been urging Filipino immigrants in Houston to seek legal assistance immediately, but many lack the resources to fight their cases. With uncertainty rising, many Filipino workers in Houston are now considering leaving the U.S. voluntarily rather than risk deportation. 5. San Diego, California. San Diego has a deep Filipino history, with thousands of military families and veterans calling the city home. However, recent immigration enforcement measures have put even those with deep roots in the U.S. at risk. Filipino families connected to the U.S. Navy and military service have been shocked to find that their immigration status doesn't always protect them. Spouses, children, and other family members of military personnel have still been targeted for deportation if they lack full legal status. San Diego's Filipino community is also facing stricter work permit regulations. Many military contractors, nurses, and retail workers who depend on employment-based visas are now struggling to renew their permits, facing long processing times and increased denials. With fear growing in San Diego's Filipino community, many are relocating to other states or seeking alternative pathways to stay in the US. Unfortunately, for some, the only option left is self-deportation before they are forcibly removed. 4. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago has one of the largest Filipino communities in the Midwest, but recent policy changes have put many at risk. Immigration authorities have ramped up workplace raids in industries where Filipinos are heavily employed, including restaurants, hotels, and hospitals. One of the biggest impacts is on Filipino healthcare workers. Many nurses and caregivers who were once on track for legal residency are now facing unexpected visa denials, deportation orders, and delays in their applications. Some hospitals are now seeing critical staffing shortages as Filipino nurses are being removed from their jobs. Another major issue is the rise in immigration detentions. Chicago has seen a surge in ICE arrests targeting Filipinos with visa overstays, expired green cards, or minor legal infractions. This has sent shockwaves through the community, with many Filipinos avoiding public spaces and even skipping work out of fear. Chicago has always been a stronghold for Filipino immigrants, but today, the community is facing its biggest crisis yet. 3. Las Vegas. Las Vegas, known for its vibrant tourism industry, is home to a large Filipino population. Over the years, Filipinos have played a crucial role in hospitality, healthcare, and service sectors, forming the backbone of the city's economy. However, recent crackdowns have sent shockwaves through this community. Immigration enforcement actions have intensified, with workplace raids becoming more frequent. Filipino workers, who often take on low-wage jobs, are particularly vulnerable to these raids, leaving many fearful for their livelihoods. Business owners who employ large numbers of Filipino workers have also been targeted, resulting in a chilling effect on local employment. The pressure is not only felt by those undocumented but also by legal residents who worry about possible changes to their status. For many, the dream of a better life in Las Vegas has been overshadowed by the fear of sudden deportation. The economic and emotional toll is taking its toll on families, who are unsure of how to proceed in this new environment of uncertainty. Filipino immigrants in Las Vegas are now grappling with the reality that their future here may no longer be as secure as it once seemed. 2. San Francisco. San Francisco, a city synonymous with diversity and progressive policies, has long been a haven for immigrants, including a thriving Filipino community. Filipinos have settled in the Bay Area for decades, contributing to its healthcare system, tech industry, and cultural landscape. However, despite the city's sanctuary status, Filipino immigrants are feeling the strain of increased immigration crackdowns. Many have reported longer waiting times for visa processing, with some facing denials or delays that jeopardize their ability to stay in the country. The fear of being separated from family members has become a constant worry for those who are seeking to bring loved ones to join them in the U.S. Moreover, some Filipino workers have reported facing discrimination or exploitation, as they are often seen as easy targets for employers looking to take advantage of their uncertain legal status. This toxic environment has led to increased anxiety within the Filipino community, where families are now questioning their future in San Francisco. While the city itself remains a symbol of hope for many, the looming threat of immigration crackdowns is forcing Filipino immigrants to reconsider their safety and long-term prospects in a city that once felt like home. 1. Seattle. Seattle, a city with a reputation for its progressive policies and immigrant-friendly initiatives, is experiencing a shift that is deeply unsettling for Filipino immigrants. The recent uptick in arrests and deportation proceedings has left many members of the Filipino community in a state of fear and uncertainty. Historically, Seattle has been a sanctuary city, offering refuge to immigrants from all corners of the globe. However, the recent escalation of immigration enforcement has affected Filipino families, many of whom have lived in the city for years. Filipino immigrants, who make up a significant portion of the city's healthcare workforce, are now worried about the future of their careers and their ability to remain in the country. Families who have lived in Seattle for generations are seeing the sudden disruption of their lives as deportation threats loom over them. For some, the fear of losing their homes and livelihoods is overwhelming. Even those with legal status are feeling the ripple effects, as they worry about their loved ones being caught in the crackdown. Seattle's Filipino community, once thriving in a city that embraced them, now faces an uncertain future as the crackdown continues to take hold, threatening the very foundation of their lives. Closing thoughts. As immigration enforcement intensifies, Filipino communities across the U.S. are being impacted like never before. Deportations are increasing, visas are harder to obtain, and even long-time residents are being forced out of the country. The fear among Filipinos in the U.S. is real. Families are being separated, businesses are losing workers, and entire communities are struggling. For many, the American dream is slipping away. If you're in one of these cities and are affected by these policies, seek legal help, stay informed, and know your rights. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Filipino communities are facing one of their biggest challenges yet.